Hey, it's Bill, and you're tuned in to Three Questions and a Song, episode number 64. Those of you who have watched can tell that I'm not where I normally am. I have an issue with the falling ceiling, and that's also why you didn't get an episode of Pennsylvania Rock Show last week. But, as they say, the show must go on. With me tonight on episode number 64 is Demo. What's up, Demo?
Nothing, just sitting here, chilling.
Praying along with me that my microphone doesn't unplug.
Right?
All right, so for those of you that are not familiar with Three Questions in a Song, the idea behind it is exactly what the title says. Unfortunately, the host can't count. So sometimes it's more than three. One time it was 14. We'll see how this goes. All right, so I'm going to ask you the first question, and it's actually about when you go to your artist page on Facebook. The description, I'm trying to go there and work around everything here, so bear with me, people that are with us live. Type in Demo Demon in your Facebook search. It brings you to The Collapsing, which is his username on Facebook. But the subtitle, artist, producer, and manager at Brutal Business Entertainment, Showman, Gamer, Seeker of Truth. I feel like that's almost like the introduction to a superhero. So if you were going to be a superhero, what would your superpower be?
Oh God, that's ironic because that was the question I was preparing for later. If I oh boy. See, I thought long about this often. I always think like, if I ever found like a genie lamp. I thought very detailed about my 3 wishes. But if I had to make one wish, it would be I want a superpower, but my superpower is that I can snap my fingers while I'm thinking about any superpower and switch to that superpower, and that's my superpower, so I can have all the superpowers. So I was like, I want my superpower to be every time I blink, I get $1 million, and I snap my fingers, and I'm like, oh, now I'm rich. What's next?
I like it. So if you could, I almost asked the question that Caleb asked. It popped into my head. We got to save that one. If you could sit on a bench with your musical hero, the number one person that you credit as being your number one musician to look up to, and sit there for an hour, but the only thing you are allowed to say to start the conversation is one question, and then you have to sit and listen. What question would you ask?
Ooh, that's a
and who is the person also?
Oh God, I would have so many questions. I wouldn't know what to ask, and it's tied between 2 people as well. Oh, it's between either Tech Nine or Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park. Oh, and if I had to ask a question, I'd probably just sit down and be like, can you, to either one of them, just be like, can you teach me to be as creative as you?
Okay. We're going to end up with way more than 3 questions tonight. All right. So, do you know the Robert Johnson story, the blues story?
I don't think so.
All right. So, Robert Johnson was a blues guitarist, and the story goes that he wasn't a very good blues guitarist, and he kept trying to get up on stage, and the bands would take their breaks, and he would go up and start playing, and they would chase him off. And he went away for a year, and he came back, and he was an amazing guitarist. And the rumor is that he met the devil at a crossroads and sold his soul to be able to play the guitar. So my question is, you are now waiting at the crossroads for the devil to arrive. What are you going to attempt to sell your soul for?
Ooh, what am I gonna sell my soul for? Hmm. Well, since I already picked a superpower, that's one of my genie wishes. So I guess I'm moving on to genie wish number 2, and that would be immortality, but I get to be my own downfall when I want to die. So if I live forever and then the planet explodes and I'm floating out in space, my thing would be probably like put a penny in my left shoe, and that's how I become vulnerable. It's like my kryptonite. So when the Earth explodes, I keep a penny on me and I'll put it in my shoe and I'll suffocate in space because there's nothing left, and I'll be like, okay, then I'll die. That's my wish.
See, now you just led me into another question. Okay, so an apocalyptic event happens on Earth, and all but a handful of people die. Or let me start that over. All but a handful of people survive, and these survivors now have to repopulate the Earth. But only one song from every artist in the history of the Earth survives. So, which one of your songs should be involved in repopulating the Earth?
Which one of my songs would be involved in repopulating the Earth? I'll probably go for something like soft too. I guess like one of my more recent favorite ones, probably like Nobody's Hero, which is like an acoustic song.
What? I just rattle them off on you now. If we were to play your songs backwards, what would we hear?
In the original 2012 version of Kingato, before I took everything down and rebooted everything, you would probably hear "It's a Me Mario" in one of the verses mixed way back, all in reverse, so you can hear it clearly when you reverse the song.
So it's really in there?
It's really in there. It's buried. I
Nice.
think I did like 3 of those in separate songs, but that's the only one I can remember.
So usually that people stumble on that and they're like, it would
I don't
be
think
bad.
anyone has ever found any of them, because I mix them like way in the back vocals and like make sure it's not obvious at all. And I'm like, oh, if someone reverses it, it's like really fan. You're like, it's a me, Mario. It's like, yeah.
Looking over your shoulder, I do this sometimes. I see why do I always blank on his name? The Merc.
Master Chief?
No, other side.
There's Claptrap, there's Deadpool, there's
That's
the Invisible Man.
That's why I knew that the superhero question would fly. I don't know why I have a mental block on Deadpool. Probably because it looks so much like Spider-Man, and I know it's not.
I think that's part of the joke. Is like the first time Deadpool appeared, it was a mimic cover of Spider-Man where he was doing the web swing pose, because they have like the similar colored outfits and it confuses people.
Well, definitely not the same character.
Yeah.
I will let my kids watch Spider-Man, not Deadpool. Let's see. I'm looking at our time. If I have to ask you the Dave Grohl question. So with the PA Rock Show and 3 questions in the song, I've been trying to get Dave Grohl to come on, and so far basically been ignored. I emailed management, I've tagged him, it isn't happening. But someday someone will say, hey, I heard this guy talking about you. But the question is, and they just did this again recently. Nandi Bushell, I think is her name. She's an 11-year-old drummer. They challenged him to a drum contest, and she came up and played Everlong with them on tour like 2 or 3 days ago. But the question is, what musician would you like to go up on stage and do one of their songs with?
Ooh. If I had to do one song, it would probably be Linkin Park if Chester was still alive, and I would want to do Place for My Head.
So Brian says, let's go.
Brian Allen, I grew up with him.
And also earlier, I popped this one up. Chris Thunderwolf Dotson from Wolf's Customs. They customize instruments. wolfscustoms.online for anybody who wants to check them out. Let's go one more question, and then we'll talk about the song that we're going to feature tonight. What would you say has been the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you on the stage?
Just about an entire set list where I got so fucking wasted that I forgot practically my entire set. So I was stumbling around on stage. It was like an art house mixed with a venue, but it was where somebody lived all in one. It was crazy. And this was like around, I don't know, 7-ish years ago maybe. But I was wandering on stage and I just couldn't remember any of the lyrics to any of the songs. I was going, next song, next song. And I just completely fucked it up. And I was like, never again. I will always drink after my performances now, never before.
Did you get invited back to that venue?
I did.
Good.
But the time I was supposed to go back, I had lost my voice. Like, it just completely shot one morning because my kid was running late for school. My wife was yelling at her, like, come on. I'm trying to sleep. And I just roll over and I'm like, get ready. And I just yelled as soon as I opened my eyes, and it killed my entire voice. I couldn't speak for like 2 weeks.
Wow. That would be a problem for me because that's what I do all day is talk. That doesn't mean my students are listening, but I'm talking.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was bad.
So the song that we're gonna feature tonight is called Diseased. And I'm gonna give you your MTV storyteller's moment and let you tell a story about the song. Anything you want to tell us about it.
Disease is about mania, which is part of it's where like you have a million thoughts in your head, and if I were to describe it, you can't reach out and grab a single thought. It's all going at once. And it wasn't until this past year I was officially diagnosed with anxiety, but I've had it my entire life. Like, you just know when you have it. But what I didn't realize it was linked to was chest pain.
Oh.
So I'd have these moments where I just like grab my chest and I just fall on the floor and I'm like, for 20 seconds. And I'm like, okay, I'm fine. And I realized, that I described it to the doctor like about maybe 7 months ago or so. And they're like, oh, those are panic attacks. I was like, I've had those my entire life, I guess. And I didn't know it. So it's about just panicking and just all the physical problems that come with it, and just people constantly coming at you to make you panic because they know they can and they're fucked up.
Now, the song also features Gruesome. I do not know who Gruesome is, so you got to give me a little intro on that person.
Gruesome is part of oh god, I cannot remember what his Sick Fucks music, I think it is, like SIK Sick Fucks, and he's one of two people that I know that is like just a tall white emo dude who has one of the deepest voices, is like this, and I'm like, and that's how he talks, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. he's a horrorcore artist, and I'd been listening to him since about around 2012 ish, and I was like, I like this dude, and he's probably the only collab I've ever actually paid for, because when people listen to my music, they're like, yeah, I'll jump on with you. You're pretty good. And he's the only one where he was just like, hey, doing collabs again. And I was like, well, he would fit this song, I feel like, so I'll give him some money. And he took about like 6 months to get it back to me, but it was worth it.
All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take a moment and listen to Disease by Demo Demon featuring Gruesome, and we will be right back. For those of you that are tuned in live that are not familiar with the show, you do not get to hear the song right now. To hear it, you'll want to go to buildthescene.com at 6 a.m. on September 1st. So that's 2 days from now. And now I'm going to come back in as if we heard the song.
All right.
Okay. That was Disease by Demo Demon featuring Gruesome. And Demo's hanging out with me this evening. And what we're going to do now is last episode's guest has a question for him. And the question basically is, who would you like to rap battle?
I feel like Hobson, because I can relate to him, therefore I can get a little too like close to home. I was like, I hear him, and I was like, damn, I relate to this a little bit too much, and he don't know me as well, so I feel like I could stand a chance.
Cool. All right, last two questions for you. Where can people find you and your music online?
demodemon.bandcamp.com, because at the end of 2019, I split with my distribution company, so everything I got taken down. And for some reason, whatever, I can't remember what the codes are that they do when they post them on streaming services, but apparently those are still floating around, so I'm not allowed to post my songs anywhere else because they won't let me now.
Okay.
They're like, you need these codes still exist on Spotify. I'm like, those are taken down. Let me post it. Yeah, demodemon.bandcamp.com has pretty much everything I've ever made on there.
Cool. And what's up next for Demo Demon?
I'm doing some shows with Madquawk on his Hellfire tour. But right now I'm kind of like on break. It's been a rough year. So working on a new album slowly, but not working too hard on it this year due to all the events. And yeah, mainly just doing shows, trying to get back into the groove while I slowly figure out what I'm going to do with this Chapter 4 album.
Cool. All right, so if you would like to get a copy of Disease or any of the other music that Demo Demon has put out, make sure you go to demodemon.bandcamp.com. You can find him on Facebook, The Collapsing, and I don't remember the other ones, but they're listed on his Facebook page in the header. You'll see them.
Yeah, they're on the banner.
So we kind of waffled back and forth on which song we were going to feature tonight. The other one is called Revolution, and it features Patrick from 9 Stitch Method. You should check that song out as well. Demo, I want to thank you for hanging out with me tonight.
No problem.
And this has been episode number 64 of 3 Questions and a Song. Make sure you check us out on the 1st and 15th of each month at buildthescene.com. And if you're interested in hearing me talk a lot more about local music, you can check us out each Friday. Sorry, my wife is walking by shaking her head no. You can check us out each Friday at buildthescene.com, 8 p.m. And here's some more of the best unsigned on that one, the best unsigned rock and metal, the Pennsylvania. I can't even get it out because I'm still stuck on her shaking her head no when she walked by. Some of the best unsigned rock and metal that Pennsylvania has to offer is Pennsylvania Rock Show. And then 3 Questions and a Song is any genre, any location, and that one is real wide open. We've had hip hop, we've had trap, we've had metal, we've had rock, we've had country. It's all in there. It's kind of like Prego. My name is Bill. This has been episode 64. We'll catch you next time. Thanks again, Demo.
Mm-hmm.